Have you ever wondered why A Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass feel so completely different, yet Sarah J. Maas fans are absolutely obsessed with both? It's because underneath the surface, they are actually built on the exact same blueprint. Today, we are going to look at how Maas uses the same hidden engine to give us two totally unique journeys. One becomes an intimate, character-driven romantasy, and the other becomes a massive, kingdom-spanning epic fantasy. Fair warning, this video contains spoilers for the early books in both series. With all that out of the way, buckle up. Let's start right at the beginning, the opening wound. Maas introduces both of our heroines at absolute rock bottom, trapped in extreme deprivation and fighting every single day just to survive. In A Court of Thorns and Roses, we meet 19-year-old Feyre in the freezing woods. Her family is starving, and she is the sole provider. If she doesn't hunt, her family simply does not eat. Everything about Feyre's opening screams burden and duty. She is bound by a promise to her dying mother, and she has literally been worn down into sheer, desperate usefulness. On the flip side, in Throne of Glass, we meet 18-year-old Celaena Sardothien in a labor camp. She's already carrying the legend of being Adarlan's most ruthless assassin, but after a year of slave labor and brutal whippings in the Endovier salt mines, that legend is trapped inside a starved, battered body. She survives by performing absolute invincibility because looking dangerous is the only language her oppressors respect. So, both women are surviving crushing hardship, but they handle it differently. Feyre survives by giving, while Celaena survives by holding. But a survivor's life can only stay the same for so long before more hardship finds them. For Feyre, that intervention is a desperate, fatal choice. As she hunts for food, she unknowingly kills a Fae. This brings a terrifying beast to her cottage door, demanding a life for a life under an ancient treaty, and she is dragged away to the fairy lands of Prythian. For Celaena, the intervention is a lethal political bargain. Crown Prince Dorian pulls her from the misery of the mines and offers her a sliver of freedom, but only if she can survive a cutthroat tournament at the Glass Castle to become the tyrannical king's personal assassin. Maas moves both women from literal starvation into overwhelming luxury. But this is a false rescue. It's a transition into a golden cage, where beauty is used as a mechanism for containment. In A Court of Thorns and Roses, Feyre is brought to Tamlin's manor in the Spring Court, a place of perpetual golden light and blooming gardens. After years of carrying her family's survival on her back, she is suddenly surrounded by food, warmth, and fine gowns. She even begins to paint again, reclaiming a piece of her soul that poverty had nearly erased. However, this relief is conditional. Tamlin's love is defined by a protection that gradually turns into stifling control. He refuses to let her train her emerging powers, and eventually uses a magical shield to lock her inside the manor for her own safety. In Throne of Glass, Celaena undergoes a similarly jarring shift, pulled from the gray filth of the salt mines into the Glass Castle. She is given silk clothes, servants, and the rich foods required to restore her starved, battered body. But while her rooms are opulent, they are located in the heart of the regime that oppressed her. She is only being restored so she can be weaponized, forced to compete in a lethal tournament to become the personal assassin for the king who enslaved her. Both heroines are restored just enough to be useful to others. Whether it's the sun-drenched gardens of spring or the mirrored corridors of the Glass Castle, the bars of the cage are now made of gold, but they are bars nonetheless. In A Court of Thorns and Roses, Tamlin is the shelter Feyre desperately needs as a mortal survivor. After a lifetime built around carrying the burden of her family's survival, he gives her her first real experience of safety, care, and provision, allowing her to finally stop carrying everyone else for a moment. In Throne of Glass, Chaol Westfall offers Celaena structure, discipline, and loyalty inside a treacherous court where trust is incredibly expensive. He trains her, protects her, and becomes one of the first people in the Glass Castle to see her as a person rather than just the king's weapon. Both relationships successfully stabilize the heroine at one crucial stage of her survival, but then become too small for who she is becoming. The heroine changes faster than the relationship. Feyre cannot remain the girl whose primary need is protection, because that need eventually undermines her agency. Celaena cannot remain just an assassin functioning within the rules set by someone else. Both series hit a point where private survival becomes a public performance. This is the public trial. In A Court of Thorns and Roses, the golden cage shatters when Feyre is dragged under the mountain. She is turned into a literal spectacle, watched, manipulated, and forced to survive 3 impossible tasks under Amarantha's cruel control to earn her freedom. In Throne of Glass, Celaena is pushed through the King's Champion competition. Every brutal test and duel is supposedly designed to prove she deserves her freedom, but the tournament actually serves to expose the much deeper, darker evil hiding within the castle walls. The shared DNA here is crucial. The system demands intense physical pain before it even offers the illusion of release. But more importantly, neither set of trials actually restores their old lives. Feyre does not finish her tasks and earn a clean, happy fairy tale ending. Celaena does not win the competition and walk away truly free. Instead, both women learn that the structures governing them are fundamentally corrupt, and surviving a single ordeal will never be enough. This is the major turning point where both stories stop being solely about personal survival. Now, the world itself is the problem. And then there's the introduction of the trainer figure. After the public trials break down their old lives, both heroines are challenged to grow by immortal, dangerous, hyper-competent, muscular yet deeply romantic warriors. In A Court of Thorns and Roses, Rhysand takes on this role. While he arrives with a reputation for danger, his actual impact on Feyre centers entirely on building her agency and competence. He actively trains her emerging magical abilities and pushes her to make her own decisions, deliberately avoiding the overprotective sheltering of her past. Throne of Glass introduces Rowan Whitethorn once the castle phase ends. He meets Celaena in the depths of her grief and subjects her to brutal physical discipline, driving her to finally confront the royal identity and magical power she has been avoiding. Rhysand and Rowan act as direct structural mirrors for each other. They both force the heroine's growth, challenging the smaller, damaged versions of themselves that fear had frozen in place. And then both series go their separate ways. A Court of Thorns and Roses increases its stakes by introducing war and political alliances, but its narrative camera remains tightly focused. The core of the story stays anchored to Feyre's personal healing and the found family she builds in the Night Court. Throne of Glass moves in the opposite direction. What begins as a localized assassin competition continuously pulls the camera back until it becomes a sprawling, epic fantasy. The plot shifts entirely to Celaena reclaiming her true identity, building a rebellion, and leading entire kingdoms into open war. And I think that's why ACOTAR and Throne of Glass are so different, yet still both perfect for Maas fans. Did you like both? Or do you have a favorite? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helps your imagination take flight. If you enjoyed the ride, bless the algorithm with a like and subscribe so I can keep these coming. See you next time.